Ever get that feeling, Like the past is kind of breathing down your neck.
You mean like it's still got a hold on us?
Yeah, exactly. Not like in a spooky way, but like those little things, traces that stick around and kind of, well, they shape who we are now, right?
Interesting.
So we're diving into this piece. It's called Vestiges of the Past. And get this, we're going to tie it to, wait for it, a George R.R. Martin quote.
Okay, now that's what I call a deep dive.
Right. Talk about going deep. So the piece starts with this quote. It says, "Nothing burns like the cold."
Whoa, that's a head scratcher. What's that even supposed to mean?
Seriously, right. What does that even mean?
Well, I think Martin's playing with a paradox there. It's like he's putting these two totally opposite ideas together, to make you really think. Kind of makes you question those words, like what they really mean.
Yeah, I see that. So then the piece goes on to tell this story about, well, it's a childhood bike accident.
Oh.
Yeah, the person telling the story, they're trying to keep up with all the other kids, fit in.
Right, been there.
So they borrow this bike, but it's way too big for them.
Oh.
Yeah. So, of course, what happens? All the other kids, they just zoom ahead, right?
Yeah.
And then a car comes along and, fear just takes over and bam, they crash.
Ouch.
Yeah. Pretty bad. They end up with some serious scars.
Scars.
Yeah. And that's where it gets interesting, right?
Okay.
Because the author, they use this whole story as a way to explain this idea of vestiges.
Vestiges.
Yeah, like the scar. It's
Yeah.
not just a mark on their body,
I see.
It becomes like a symbol of that whole experience, right? A reminder of that day, something from the past that still affects them now.
Yeah, so it's not just about the physical scar, it's about what it represents,
Yeah.
the memory, the experience, right?
Exactly. And, it got me thinking, like
Yeah.
vestiges, they can be way more than just physical scars, right?
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. They can totally influence how we make decisions, how we relate to other people, even how we see ourselves.
Wow. So they're like hidden forces shaping our lives.
Kind of, yeah. Like we might avoid certain situations or make choices based on those past experiences without even realizing it,
So like maybe because of that bike accident, they never get on a bike again.
Exactly. Or maybe because they felt like they didn't measure up back then, they constantly feel like they have to prove themselves now.
Interesting.
These vestiges, they can be good or bad, but they become part of our story. They become part of who we are, and they definitely influence how we navigate the world.
That makes me think about that Martin quote again, that nothing burns like the cold line.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, even though the past is over and done, the feeling, the memory of it, it can still, I don't know, sting, Like it still has this power over us.
Totally. That burn could be the emotional pain from something that happened, or the regret of missing out on something, or even the lingering effects of, something really traumatic.
Yeah, heavy stuff. It's kind of like a wake-up call, isn't it? Like, hey, these vestiges, these echoes of the past, they're shaping our present, whether we want to admit it or not.
Exactly. Think about a time when, like, a seemingly small thing ended up having a huge impact on your life later on. That's the power of a vestige. It's not always obvious, but it's there, working behind the scenes, shaping your choices, your reactions.
So it's like even those tiny, almost forgotten moments from our past, they can still be woven into who we are today. It's kind of mind-blowing, But, I mean, where do we go from here? What do we do with all these vestiges, all this baggage from the past?
That's the big question, isn't it? Can we choose how they affect us? Can we actually use them to create the future we want? I think that's something worth thinking about, really pondering. Maybe instead of letting those echoes control us, we can learn from them, we can grow from them. We can actually use them as fuel to create a better, more fulfilling life.
Wow, that's powerful. It's like turning those old wounds into wisdom.
Exactly.
That's definitely something for our listeners to chew on, to think about.
Yeah.
Maybe embracing those vestiges, the good and the bad. Maybe that's how we figure out who we really are and where we're really going. It's like those echoes, they become less about the pain of the past and more about, the possibilities of the future.
I like that.
Yeah, you too.
It's like those echoes become signposts guiding us forward.
Exactly.
Instead of chains holding us back.
I think that's a great place to wrap up.
I agree.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
It's been a pleasure.
And remember, the past might be a part of us, but it doesn't have to define us.
Until next time.
See ya.